Some of the most critical procedures in medicine are the ones we almost never hear about. They're happening behind the scenes in these moments where literally every single second counts. Today, we're going to dive into one of those, suctioning. It's a procedure that, when you get right down to it, is all about the most fundamental thing we do, breathing. So let's explore how medical pros protect that vital function, and it all starts with their #1 priority in any emergency.
Think about it. In any medical crisis, before they give a single drug, before they even have a solid diagnosis, one thing has to be secured above everything else. It is the absolute first step.
So, what do you think it is? When a person's life is on the line, what's the very first thing a medical team has to lock down to even give them a fighting chance?
It's this: a clear, open airway. The ability to get oxygen into the lungs, well, that's the foundation of everything. Without that, nothing else they do is going to matter.
And this gets us to one of the most basic principles in all of medicine, the ABCs of life support. It's not just some catchy phrase, it's a strict order of operations. A for airway is always, always first, because really, you can't restore breathing or circulation if the path for air is blocked.
Okay, so if a clear airway is the goal, how do you get there when it's blocked? That is exactly where the skilled, specific procedure of suctioning comes into play.
In the simplest terms, you can think of suctioning as a tiny, highly targeted medical vacuum cleaner for the airway. It uses negative pressure to literally pull out anything. We're talking mucus, blood, vomit, that's stopping a patient from being able to breathe.
So the main goal here is pretty simple. Go from a blocked airway to a clear one. By yanking out all those secretions, you're doing two incredibly important things at once. You're letting oxygen flow in, and you're stopping the patient from accidentally inhaling that stuff into their lungs, which is a really dangerous complication called aspiration. So how does a doctor or a nurse know when it's time to step in and do this? Well, they're using their senses and their monitors. They can literally hear a gurgling or rattling sound with every breath. They can see secretions in the patient's mouth, and they are watching that oxygen monitor like a hawk. If those numbers start to drop, that's a huge red flag that the airway is in trouble.
Now, because we're dealing with the most delicate and vital pathway in the entire body, this isn't something you just do on a whim. Suctioning is governed by some very strict rules to make sure it's not only effective, but just as importantly, safe.
The first rule is all about finding the right balance. The pressure has to be strong enough to get the job done, but it also has to be gentle enough not to damage the delicate tissues of the airway. So, the force they use is carefully dialed in. An infant's airway is incredibly fragile, so you use the lightest touch, while an adult can handle a bit more pressure. And this might just be the most critical safety rule of them all, the clock. 10 to 15 seconds. That is the absolute maximum amount of time allowed for a single suction pass. And the reason is simple but so vital. While that catheter is pulling secretions out, it's also blocking oxygen from getting in. This strict time limit is the key to preventing oxygen levels from dropping dangerously low. A few other principles are just as important. To stop any infections, you have to use a completely sterile technique, especially for deep suctioning. And to protect the lining of the airway, suction is only applied on the way out, never on the way in. And to make up for that brief moment without air, patients get a blast of pure oxygen. They're hyperoxygenated right before the procedure, and they get a little recovery time in between attempts. Okay, so now that we know the rules of the game, let's take a look at how this all comes together. Here's a quick, high-level overview of how the procedure is actually done. The whole thing really boils down to 4 key stages. First up is preparation. Get all the gear ready and give the patient that 100% oxygen to build up a reserve. Second, insertion. The catheter is gently guided into place without any suction on to prevent injury. Third is the main event. Apply suction, but only while withdrawing, often in a little rotating motion, and all within that 15-second window. And finally, you have to reassess. The clinician listens to the patient's lungs, checks their oxygen levels, and confirms that it actually worked. Now, the technique actually changes a bit depending on where you're aiming. On the left, you've got oropharyngeal suctioning. That's for clearing out the mouth and the upper throat, and you often use a rigid tip for that. We call that a clean procedure. But on the right, you have endotracheal suctioning. That's when you're going deep into the lungs through a breathing tube. And because you're entering the sterile environment of the lungs, that has to be a strictly sterile procedure to avoid introducing any nasty bacteria. Look, any procedure this critical is gonna come with some risks. But a huge part of medical training isn't just knowing how to do something, it's knowing how to see those risks coming and manage them effectively.
Of course, a procedure this invasive has some potential bumps in the road. It can cause a temporary drop in oxygen, which is called hypoxia. It can even slow the heart rate, that's bradycardia, if a certain nerve gets stimulated. And there's always a risk of irritating the delicate lining of the airway. But professionals are trained to watch for all of this.
And this is where it all comes full circle, because every single rule we just talked about is a direct counterattack against a specific risk. Pre-oxygenating, that fights hypoxia. Using the lowest effective pressure, that prevents trauma to the airway. That strict 15-second time limit, that's another major defense against hypoxia. And constantly watching the vital signs lets the team spot any problem, like a slowing heart rate, the second it starts. Every step is a calculated safety measure.
And in the end, it really all comes down to this. Suctioning isn't just another task on a checklist. It's a truly life-saving intervention. It's a procedure that, when it's done with skill and precision and care, directly restores the body's ability to take a breath. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the simplest functions are the most profound.